passion, danger, and secrets. What is Beth Cooper really hiding? Brace yourself for a wild ride in today's thrilling recap of I Love You, Beth Cooper. The movie kicks off with a high school graduation party, introducing us to Dennis, who secretly loves the school's beauty, Beth Cooper. Just before the party, his friend Rich advises him to confess his feelings so he won't have any lifelong regrets. When the teacher gives Dennis the floor, he sees it as his chance. His speech starts off dull, amusing only his parents, but things take a turn when he boldly confesses his love for Beth. The room is stunned, especially Beth, who barely knows Dennis. To make matters worse, her military boyfriend is watching. Dennis then urges everyone to voice their unspoken desires and confessions to avoid future regrets. His passionate speech leaves everyone in shock. Outside, the school teacher confronts Dennis, initially displeased with his speech. However, reminiscing about her own youthful love, she understands his actions. Beth then approaches Dennis, admitting that his confession caught her off guard, but also finding it cute. Feeling hot, she removes her gown, revealing a short t-shirt and shorts that highlight her attractiveness. Rich interrupts their conversation, and as Beth turns to leave, Dennis invites her to a party at his house. Beth hesitates, trying to decline the invitation. Suddenly, Kevin, Beth's boyfriend, approaches and strangles Dennis. He only releases him when a teacher intervenes on Dennis's behalf, after which Kevin leaves. On their way home, Dennis and Rich are mocked and called losers. Rich then tells Dennis he's straight and likes girls, puzzled as to why Dennis thought otherwise. Dennis recalls a past incident that led to his assumption but doesn't share it with Rich. The friends then discuss why Rich hasn't had a girlfriend in high school, revealing that Dennis hasn't had one either because he never managed to meet someone. For graduation, Dennis received an iPod from his parents. Rich, however, reveals that his parents gave him a bill to repay the money he spent, totaling around $250,000. As they prepare for the party, Dennis is nervous and checks his t-shirt, deciding to air it out. His parents come home and offer advice about the party, particularly emphasizing the importance of changing his underwear if he wants the evening to go well. They leave the kids with 23 bottles of champagne and their contact number in case of an emergency. Before leaving, Dennis's father gives him some final advice to make this summer memorable and to do whatever he wants. He also tells them where the contraceptives are, and the boys get the hint. After Dennis's parents leave, he and Rich wait for the guests. Suddenly, a car speeds around the corner and heads straight for them. Beth is driving and she's brought her best friends. As the girls get out of the car, the guys feel a surge of excitement because Beth is incredibly cute. When they enter the house, the girls are surprised that no one else is there, as they have never been the first to arrive at a party. The guys make awkward jokes that the girls don't understand. Beth gets a call from her boyfriend, and Rich and Dennis decide to open some champagne to relax. It turns out the champagne makes the girls more receptive and playful. Beth's friends are excited that something is happening, and Rich goes to fetch the protection they were left with. While Dennis struggles to open the champagne, Beth talks to her boyfriend on the phone, refusing to tell him her location to prevent him from coming over. Dennis accidentally hurts his hand trying to open the bottle. Rich returns with the protection just as the cork shoots out and hits Beth in the forehead. The friends laugh but then quickly move to help her. Beth sits down on top of Dennis to put something cold on his hand. As they talk, Dennis's arousal builds, which Beth notices and likes. Dennis, embarrassed, gets up and hides his arousal. The girls realize what's happening and find it amusing. The girls decide to leave, but as they say goodbye to the guys, they notice another car approaching with Kevin and his friends. The car parks on the lawn and one of the girls goes to meet her boyfriend. Dennis quickly takes her inside and locks the door, trying to secure the house. He manages to close all but one window, allowing Kevin to get in. Once inside, Kevin threatens Dennis, smashing a vase against the wall and grabbing a bottle of champagne. Dennis dodges the bottles, but Kevin throws a microwave into the wall, causing the guys to flee. They lock themselves in a room, searching for weapons and finding only a child's sword. Rich hides in the closet while Dennis hides behind the wall. When Kevin enters, he notices a picture of Beth above Dennis's bed. Dennis attempts to fight Kevin, but Kevin wields a skeleton's arms as weapons. Rich jumps out of the closet and out the window. Beth bursts in, stopping Kevin when she sees her picture. Dennis heads for the window, but Kevin pushes him into the rose bushes. Dennis picks up Rich and they escape over the fence with Kevin in pursuit. Dennis runs into the road as a car approaches. Beth hits Dennis but then helps him into the car. Rich catches up and they all get in as Beth speeds away. Beth turns out to be a terrible driver. Rich remembers their driving lessons and realizes they're still in danger despite being thankful for the rescue. Dennis tries to call his parents, but they are busy, and his father humorously puts the vibrating phone down his wife's pants. Realizing they can be tracked, Beth throws the phone out the window. They turn on music, and the group starts to party, singing and dancing in the car. They arrive at a gas station where Beth suddenly brakes, causing Rich to fall between her legs. Beth and Dennis go to buy beer, and Dennis compliments Beth, which she enjoys. However, they're initially refused alcohol because they're still in high school. Beth convinces the clerk to sell them beer. With a passionate kiss, which disillusions Dennis as he overhears the exchange. When they reach the woods, they set up a bonfire and try to have some fun. Beth treats Dennis to a beer and shows off by opening the bottle with her teeth. Dennis attempts the same but ends up breaking a tooth. Romantic music plays, and the girls enjoy the atmosphere. Realizing the couple needs some alone time, the friends wander off and encounter some cows, deciding to take one down for fun. Dennis shares his future plans, including the university he plans to attend. Beth asks why Dennis seems disappointed in her. Dennis replies that his ideal Beth Cooper wouldn't make out for 12 cans of beer because she's worth more than that. Meanwhile, their friend's attempt to take down a cow backfires as all the cows start chasing them. Back at the car, they recount their adventure, and Beth notices a foul odor emanating from Rich, who left his sneakers behind after the cow incident. They pile into the car and head off, with Beth driving dangerously and even turning off the headlights at one point. When she turns the lights back on, they immediately crash into another car, which turns out to be Dennis's parents. The group sees what Dennis's parents are up to and quickly drives away. They arrive at a party, and the girls head to the pool while the guys notice Beth talking to someone else. Dennis heads to the bathroom, where he encounters Greg, whom he had insulted at the reunion. Dennis finds the right words to say, and Greg, feeling misunderstood, starts crying. They gradually become friends, and Greg hugs Dennis, making him feel better. Dennis returns to his friend, and they grab some food and punch. A classmate approaches them, complimenting Dennis's speech at the prom. Upon learning that Kevin is at the party, Dennis tries to escape but runs into Beth. They spot Kevin making out with someone else, leading Beth to dump him. She picks up Dennis and his friend, formulating a plan to help them. Kevin wants to beat up Dennis, but Dennis asks the people around him for help. The landlady intervenes, telling Kevin to teach Dennis a lesson. Suddenly, the school coach steps in and sets the rules for the fight. Dennis tries to give up, not wanting to fight, but Kevin hits him anyway. Greg steps in to defend Dennis, knocking out Kevin and the other two guys, but ultimately gets overpowered. Beth arrives in a car, picks up her friends, and they drive off, screaming in excitement. Beth decides to head back to the school for more fun. Since the girls are cheerleaders, they start dancing for the guys. However, Beth gets sad and they head to the showers. Rich goes to get them, and Dennis enters the locker room, finding his beautiful classmates in towels. Beth approaches Dennis and drops her towel. Her friends invite Dennis to swim with them, and he agrees, ready to join his classmates. As the girls call out to their friends, Dennis is left alone and found by Kevin. Rich comes to the rescue, saving Dennis. The girls run out of the shower, heading to the car, and notice that Rich has no pants. Meanwhile, Rich fights off his attackers, revealing he has been practicing fighting with towels since childhood, and defeats them all. He finally joins his friends, who are waiting for him by the car. On the way, they discuss how it all started, with Dennis sharing everything he knows about Beth. His friends give him tampons to stop his nosebleed. Beth reveals that she and her friends initially thought attending Dennis's party would be a fun joke, but things didn't go as planned, especially with Dennis now having a broken nose. She tells him to take off his shirt because it smells, and as she airs it out, she accidentally loses it. Beth stops the car abruptly, causing her friend to fall on top of Rich. Dennis gets out to search for the shirt, forgetting he's wearing his favorite embarrassing underwear. His friends laugh, but Beth decides to dress him in her cape. As they search for the t-shirt together, they discuss why Beth is dating Kevin and why Dennis confessed his love at prom. Dennis explains his reasons in detail, which Beth appreciates. They find his shirt, but Kevin takes it for himself, scaring the school kids, who then run away. Rich convinces the girls that he likes them, explaining why he didn't get turned on in the shower. They seduce him by showing how they like to eat cookies, gradually undressing him and leading him to the bedroom. At the same time, Dennis tells Beth that tonight will be his most memorable moment from school. Beth reflects that school was the best time of her life and fears the uncertainty that comes.
This is a job that every woman envies. You can earn 40,000 yen just by sleeping in one night, but it is definitely not a highly profitable industry because you have to deal with ghosts every day. This is the legendary house cleaner. As the name suggests, the house cleaner has to live in the haunted house for 7 days. After successfully cleansing it, it can be rented out like an ordinary house. Yuzi is a professional house cleaner. One day, she moved into a haunted house. That night, the psychic lamp kept flashing, indicating that there was a ghost in the house. Yuzi walked from the room to the hall. When she opened the bathroom door, she found a male ghost sitting stupidly in the bathtub. When he saw Yuzi staring at him, she was completely confused. It turned out that Yuzi had a special ability. She could see ghosts, and some people could actually see her. The male ghost deliberately made faces to scare her, but seeing that Yuzi didn't react at all, the male ghost continued to release his skills and used his ultimate move to cut off her wrist directly. However, Yuzi was no longer surprised. It seemed that she was the owner of this house, who committed suicide by cutting her wrists. Yuzi thought the other person was too boring, so she closed the door and went back to the room. The male ghost soon followed her out, and Yuzi took off her clothes and prepared to go to bed. Seeing this scene, the male ghost said obscenely, "You are taking off your clothes in front of me. Aren't you afraid that I will have bad intentions?" Mom, hey, the reason why Yuzi has no taboos is because Yuzi knows that ghosts cannot touch people and objects in reality, goods. Yuzi's only hobby is painting. She will draw all the ghosts she sees. The male ghost instantly became interested when he saw his own weird portrait, and Yuzi generously showed her work to the male ghost. This was an 85-year-old widower who was discovered several months after his death. This was a bankrupt business owner who hanged himself after incurring a huge debt. The most pitiful thing is that this 7-year-old child was abandoned by his parents and starved to death. I felt creepy seeing these male ghosts and couldn't help but ask Yuzi, "Aren't you scared when you see these?" But Yuzi said, "Compared to ghosts, living people are more terrifying because they can lie." When he was 5 years old, his mother sent him to his grandmother's house, gave him a big goose lantern, and said she would play a little game with him. When he looked back at his mother again, she had completely disappeared. It was his mother who had deceived him, and she never appeared again. He thought his mother had abandoned him. So I became a loner and had no friends. When he just turned 18, his beloved grandmother passed away. He was left alone and was taken away by his uncle, who suddenly appeared and made him a person of good and evil. That night, Tamako found a music tape under the bed, and the male ghost immediately became excited when he saw the tape. It turned out that he was a singer before his death. After making music for many years but never getting any recognition, he became mentally devastated and chose to commit suicide. This cassette was the work he was most satisfied with during his lifetime. He asked Yuzi to help him send this cassette to the music company. He did not. Although he was grateful for the gift, he still cared about other people's opinions. Yuzi agreed, and just as she was about to appreciate the male ghost's work, she received another call from her uncle. He was going to move to another haunted house, and the owner of this house was a murdered girl who lived in the haunted house alone. At night, a female ghost with a dagger stuck in her back slowly crawled out from under the floor. Yuzi was very calm at first, but when the female ghost raised her head, she was still frightened. She pretended that she saw nothing, walked to the bookshelf, picked up a book at random, sat on the ground, and started reading. The female ghost approached her step by step, still talking, non-stop. This roar frightened Yuzi terribly. Seeing that no one paid attention to her, the female ghost crawled back. She seemed to have countless grievances in her heart and even began to be jealous of Yuzi. It should be so. It's all over now. Yuzi's conspiracy has been exposed. When the female ghost knew that Yuzi could see her, it was like she had grabbed a life-saving straw. After the ghost girl begged desperately, Yuzi finally dared to look directly at her. Suddenly, the ghost girl became extremely agitated. Everything in the whole room was shaking, and the lights were flickering. The female ghost complained loudly, "Why must I be killed?" It turns out that the female ghost was originally a well-known female internet celebrity. As soon as he got home from get off work, he was caught by a man in black who was following him. After finishing her physics tutorial, the female internet celebrity was stabbed with a knife in the back and fell in a pool of blood. Yuzi knew that the ghost girl's only wish was to find her killer, so she went to a nearby internet cafe to look up a lot of information about the female internet celebrity. From an interview video, Yuzi discovered the internet celebrity's neighbor, a man with glasses, who actually lived next door. After the incident, he told the police that he saw nothing. Seeing the man, with glasses acting suspiciously, Yuzi initially suspected that he was the murderer of the internet celebrity. Before going back, Yuzi went to the convenience store to buy some food. But unexpectedly, I discovered that the man with glasses actually worked in a convenience store. It seems that the man with glasses had the opportunity to commit the crime. Yuzi was a little scared and didn't even ask for change. She just ran away and became Yuzi. When she got home, the ghost had calmed down. Yuzi told her suspicions to the ghost, but she said it was impossible for the man with glasses. He was killed by a stalker. After that, the female ghost continued to haunt Yuzi. No matter whether she was eating, reading, watching TV, taking a bath, blowing her hair, or even sleeping, she always asked him to help find the murderer. But before one problem was solved, another one arose and she died in the previous room. The male ghost actually came to the door. It turns out that the male ghost is possessed by the tape, but Yuzi never sent the tape. When the two ghosts met for the first time, they greeted each other in a special and friendly way and revealed the causes of their deaths to each other. Not long after the separation, the two ghosts became more and more speculative. Yuzi came to the bridge alone to think about who killed the female internet celebrity. The man with glasses passing by thought Yuzi was going to jump into the river. He rushed over and grabbed her. The sudden care made Yuzi, who had never had any friends, feel a little warm. After learning about Tamako's concerns, the man with glasses told her everything. On the day of the incident, he did hear the screams of the female internet celebrity, but because he was timid and afraid of trouble, he finally chose to ignore it. As a result, the murderer fled after committing the crime. Seeing the man with glasses expressing his true feelings sincerely, Yuzi dispelled her doubts about him. An old man was lying on the ground looking for something. Yuzi passed by and it went straight through her body. Yuzi realized that the old man was not a human, but a ghost. She saw that the old man seemed to be looking for something. So she looked around and found a small car on the billboard. She put the car in front of the old man. The old man was very excited and said that he had been looking for it here for 20 years and had always been looking down. She kept thanking Yuzi. Looking at the old man on the ground, Yuzi finally understood the meaning of the psychic eyes God had given her. She quickly ran back to the ghost girl's house. According to the ghost girl's description of the murderer's features, Yuzi quickly drew the murderer's appearance with her superb painting skills. She asked the man with glasses to draw the portrait with a sharp look in his eyes and actually knocked the man with glasses down with one punch. The female ghost next door noticed something was wrong and came over through the wall to check the situation. It turns out that this policeman was the stalker who killed her. The murderer kept asking who the man with glasses was. The portrait showed that the murderer was so arrogant. The male ghost attacked him with a series of punches, but ghosts were of no help to humans at all. The man with glasses asked the murderer why he killed his female neighbor. "I am too conscious. コスプレのオフ。階でちょっと星かけただけで、ポリューションに物を見るよ。 Summon the upper part of the line and the upper part of the line. Soredake shidaro, the stabbing in the back made me regret my appearance. The man with glasses looked at the murderer's ugly face and punched him directly. But the strong murderer threw the man with glasses to the ground like picking up a bag. On the other side, Yuzi was annoyed that she had implicated the man with glasses. At the critical moment, he thought of a way to connect and fight. Just as the murderer was about to succeed, the doorbell rang, and it turned out to be the murderer who was delivering pizza. Not wanting to arouse suspicion, she asked the man with glasses to open the door. However, the delivery man handed the man with glasses a note which said, "Squat down." The man with glasses squatted down on the spot. It turned out that the delivery man was Yuzi. Seeing that the fire extinguisher was almost used up, the uncle threw the pizza box at the murderer, and the murderer fell on his back.